Hello! I did not plan on making a video today, but we're going to because I'm super stoked. There is rumor, right now it's rumor, that 2021 jets, now again, we've heard that we might depart in April. They're going to try and get us out in April unless we've deferred until July. Rumored that we might be leaving around April 16th. Now, the 2020 jets are in Japan. South Africa has landed. Miami has landed. Europe jets have not because of the ongoing situation in Ukraine. So they actually got their flight. South Africa and Europe jets actually got their flights canceled again. 2020 jets. Miami luckily got to go when they were supposed to, whatever US jets that needed to go over. I don't remember the other jets that needed to go over. I don't think there was too many left. But unfortunately, South Africa got their day canceled, but they were able to come this last weekend, I believe. Europe, we're still waiting, so we got it confirmed by one of our Europe jets that they are departing on April 9th. So that means our date is potentially whenever after the 2020 Europe jets arrive, because we were told we would not get to come until all 2020 jets were on Japan's soil. So through many of the different consulates, not all of us have been contacted by our consulate in the last couple months, but it's been really great because if one person emails their consulate, it's about going to be the same thing for all of us. And I have talked to my representative at my consulate before saying, we try and keep up to date with other consulates since we have a group chat. That way we're not all bombarding them with the same question. And she appreciates that very much. So if you do happen to have a group chat for when you go over, try to talk about the questions you have and take turns asking different consulates, because that helps them out so much, so not every person is answering the same 20 questions. Then if everyone has a similar question, maybe like if you're on a Discord, they can react to it. That way a lot of other people have that question and you can update them about the information. But I have not heard this official news from my consulate yet, so I can't say it's official. They're probably going to stagger us dates like they did with the 2020s, whether that be one date or two, because there is a lot less of us. However, I knew they were staggering Canada, that's the other country. I knew they were staggering entry dates from countries. So like US jets came, like even consulates, I think, because we had a Nashville jet and she arrived, and then like a day later Miami arrived. So I'm wondering if they're going to ship us all out on one go, or if they're going to stagger us at least 2 dates like they originally planned back in January, because we had our 2 departure groups. We were still split into those departure groups, so like Group A and Group B. So I'm guessing if they do something, it's going to be like that, but it might be even easier if they just go by consulate. That way they can try and get more people on. But they have upped the daily incoming jet take. Not jet, just anyone. Anyone who is not a tourist, to from 3,000 to 5,000, from 5,000 to 7,000. And then there was just an article posted that they're going to do 7,000 to 10,000, but on like a bi-weekly basis. So like, I think the 7,000 starts March 14th and the 10,000 starts sometime in April. So they might hold us until after that date in April, which I think April 16th is after that day. So hopefully we are all in Japan by the middle of April. Unfortunately, if this is the case, a lot of us will miss the sakura blossoms. We have a chart that has like predictions on when the sakura blossoms will be in bloom. and a lot of us will be missing them. So you won't be seeing probably a whole lot of Sakura content from us because we won't be in Japan in time. Unless I think like Hokkaido is way off in their date because they're so north. So, but even I don't think I'll be able to see them because I think I'll be there after the date. I think it's like April 9th is like the last good day to see them. So I'll probably just be missing it. There might still be blossoms there. I don't know. It might change. But yeah, so I am still packing, and I will be packing up until the day I leave. I actually had a video made, but I lost some footage, and I have been trying to recover it, and I don't want to go back through it because I have vacuum seal bags inside of those, and I don't want to unzip them and redo them. But I probably will at some point. It's me. Who knows? I like to repack and pack again. I'm trying to get as much things in my suitcase, and I have to pay for overweight luggage, and unfortunately, like I am going to, but I can't get anything over 60 pounds, and it hurts me so much that I can't get an extra 10 pounds in this one suitcase that I have stuffed full. But we'll figure it out. I have a lot of things left. Sorry, I thought that was an email from the consulate. It is not. I have a lot of things left and only half a suitcase. Because I'm not getting stuff shipped over to me, so I probably should downsize. But I will also try to figure out a way to vacuum seal the entire suitcase and hope they don't open them. Because I can't expand them either, because if you expand it, that's an oversized suitcase, and that's like $600. And I'm not about to pay that. And that's on top of like an overweight luggage. So we're not about to pay that. If I felt like if I had a carry-on, I could potentially do it all without having to pay more than maybe one overweight luggage. And that's with like taking all my winter and summer things. But I don't. I should really email that since there's a potential of us not being quarantined, but we probably, because we're allowed, if we test positive, no, if we test negative, not positive, we don't want that, that's not good. If we test negative, we do not have to quarantine if we are triple vaccinated. So if we are double vaxxed and boosted, we do not have to quarantine if we test negative upon arrival, which is super exciting. We have been told by one of the consulates that we will be paid for a 3-day hotel stay in Tokyo. So we actually would get to stay in Tokyo and explore Tokyo like a normal orientation, but have orientation online. Those who do not have the double vax and booster, unfortunately, no matter what, will have to quarantine at this point. We don't know if that will change. And there's also certain vaccines that are underneath that. So if you have a certain vaccine that they don't acknowledge, then you also have to quarantine. But I think most of the vaccines are approved now. I think J&J was the only one that they were speculating over. So if you're double vaxxed, if you don't have that booster, or if you've chose not to get vaccinated, you do have to quarantine per Japan rules. So that would either be 3 days or 7 days. And there's something that makes it decide if it's one or the other, because you could potentially be either or, and you get to choose which one you want. And I think it's like you test upon arrival and you test to get out of quarantine, and I think the other one is like you just test upon arrival and then you just stay 7 days in quarantine and don't test to exit or something like that. So it all comes down to doing one extra test, I believe. We did have a jet that had been in our group chat for a while, and she had made it over, and she said she was at the airport for like 5 hours, and I was like, ugh. Waiting to get through customs and get their baggage and get all their testing, COVID testing done. They couldn't eat or drink anything before they got to COVID tested, so that was an interesting thing to find out, but understandable. You don't want anything to alter the test in any way, shape, or form. And then she got to her hotel. She already had like a meal for her when she walked into her room. So it's like super exciting to think about. I'm at the point where I'm like, this is too good to be true. You know, I interviewed, I applied, and then I was stoked because I got an interview, and I didn't, think that was ever possible. And I was like, wow, this would actually be a real thing. I'm like, no, it's not. And then I got alternated, which isn't a bad thing. It isn't a bad thing. 'Cause look at me now. But it was like, I was expecting rejected because I was trying to set my hopes low, and I got alternate. I was like, wow, this is so cool. I could actually still go over. And a lot of the people in my life are like, oh, well, that's like getting nothing, isn't it? Like, you might as well just quit. And I started to believe them, but I didn't retract my alternate status. But I did start to believe them because it was being repeated so much that, alternate is like getting nothing. And this time, maybe a couple years ago before COVID, there would be a lot less upgraded alternates. But I think during the times of COVID, it's a little different. So there are a lot more alternates, I think, in these recent years than before. So alternates, but even in general, alternate is not a bad thing, it's not a bad thing. And I think we have to remember that. Whenever you get your interviews results, you have to remember that. And I had so many people telling me it's like getting nothing. And now I'm potentially just over a month out from flying to Japan and permanently moving to another country for at least a year, if not 5 years. Up to 5 years, I should say. And who knows? Who knows what happens after that? I don't know. Maybe longer, I don't know, maybe shorter, who knows. And so I was to the point where like I kind of believed him. It was like getting nothing. And then I got upgraded and I was like, wow, this is a real thing. And then November I got my placement. I was like, wow, this is really a real thing. I'm like, but we'll never go over. And then like January departure got canceled. She's like, see. And now it's April. and we're potentially getting a departure date. So like a lot of us are struggling to believe that it's going to go through this time, and we're not even 2020 jets. I cannot imagine the way Europe 2020 jets feel, because that's 2.5 years of waiting. 2.5 years of waiting. I've only been waiting 1.5 years since I submitted my application. I have been looking into this program since fall of 2018. So 3.5 years. That's it. That feels like much longer. 3.5 years when I decided I wanted to have experience teaching overseas and working with people who are learning the English language. And I kind of decided on JET in 2018 that I wanted to eventually apply to it, because that was my first choice of program to apply to. And I finally did in 2020, and got my interview in 2021, and here we are. So it kind of doesn't seem real because, I've been thinking and deciding about this for so long, but and T-minus, I don't know, like, 36, 37 days, I might be starting my new life in Japan. Or, you know, we could go through another COVID spike and be pushed off again. But whatever happens, happens. I am still stoked to go. And we are super looking forward to it. The group chat is trying to remain calm right now, but I'm hoping that we'll all get our emails either today or tomorrow. Some consulates tend to send updates several days later than others, but once we start getting the emails come up, I know the group chat we have is going to start blowing up, and I will try to figure out if we are in those 2 different departure groups or not. But I will try and keep you guys updated, help you. I might actually, after this, might make a video about interview results, because I know those are coming up. And that was in my notes to do, just because I want you guys to really think about what you are going to do with whatever result you get. Not to, you know, just say, oh, interview result, here's what you do if you get accepted. I want to cover shortlisted, alternate, and rejected, and talk about what you could do, what you might want to do, what you might want to think about before you accept your position, whatever that may be, or if there's nothing to accept. So yeah, that is an update. I know someone asked for one. I did have some updates, but I just haven't posted anything. I've recorded stuff, but just haven't felt like posting anything. And then I had a video and I lost it, so this is what we're getting. We're just getting a casual talk. Again, not gonna be a professional videographer. This is just gonna be a casual talk to try and help everyone with the stresses of the application process, either moving to Japan, talking about my life here, I guess I'm still in the States, life there, and maybe just some exploration things. I actually know someone who visits my job every so often now, who had lived in Japan for several years. Their wife is from Japan, so they've been offering me all these little tidbits, so I'm hoping I find some secret spots or some interesting things that people don't normally consider when they go to Japan. So maybe I'll have that to show, but I also don't want to like make them tourist traps either, so we'll see. Maybe I'll just post the tourist traps and leave the beauty of the hidden gems to the locals. But yeah, that is my update again. I know this is a long video. I can never get my thoughts out in a short process. If you would prefer to go to another channel that does that, feel free to do so. There are a lot of wonderful jets out there that also give out great information. You don't have to watch me if you don't want. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys all an update, and good luck on your interview results that are coming up, and we'll see you later. Hopefully we'll get that email later today or tomorrow before the weekend, so I'll let you know.